Hey everybody, this is Grace, and pardon the way I'm doing the video. But in this video I want to talk about a couple of things that happened. One yesterday and then today. And it was a coincidence kind of situation. But it's also about, I guess you would say, what kind of morals do you have, or what kind of how you handle situations, different types of situations. What do you think is right, wrong, and all that. And but yeah, and then like I said, there was one today that just happened, just not even an hour ago. Okay. And but let me get to the first one before I go into that one, because that second one I'm not too happy about. But the first one was Adam and I had ordered. We've been ordering our groceries, to be delivered since sometime last year. Okay, at least. I think it was last year. And once the pandemic started, we totally went that way, to have them delivered. Because I'd go and buy some stuff. And I did buy some stuff for the pandemic. And then one of the stores I went into, when they said buy 2 weeks of stuff, and there wasn't that much information out there about it. And they just said get 2 weeks supply at one point or something like that, recommended. And that's when everybody was, not everybody, but people were, COVIDiots were. That was the second definition of a COVIDiot, was people who were hoarding toilet paper and water. Water I never got. The toilet paper I can kind of see, but anyway. Because they probably expected other people to do the same thing. And anyway, I went to this one store, and when I was in that store, I don't even know if it was February or March, and I think it was in February, and it was when I was able to walk after hurting my knee so bad, my left knee. Anyway, and there was the butcher. It was a woman. She was standing there talking to some other woman that looked kind of like maybe a manager, or she was in a dress, I think. Anyway, she was talking to her, and they were talking about business, and that butcher was coughing, would not stop coughing, just kept coughing and coughing. I was like, and I went the other way, But anyway, that wasn't the thing. Who knows what that was, but anyway, she so after that, we started having all of our groceries delivered to our home. We don't see the people. They leave it right outside the door, and we don't see them. They don't see us. Once they leave it, we go and get it, wait a few minutes, and Adam goes and brings it in the house, puts it on the kitchen table. It's an old one. We have in a corner. I unpack the stuff and wash what I can wash, and then he sometimes puts it up for me. It depends on how big it is, how much of an order. And I started wearing my mask at some point while doing all that stuff. But anyway, so we've been doing this, and during this while, I would tell Adam, we usually, get about 70% of what I order, from no matter what place, what store, through what, if it was directly from the store or from a delivery service that they go in. Some of them go and do the shopping themselves. Some of them, they have it shopped for you and they pick it up and deliver it, whatever it was. We wouldn't always get what we ordered. And they sometimes, these got more and more sophisticated as time went by. They would say what they didn't have, and then they credit it back to you, of course. Like the other day, yesterday, we had ordered, it was $417 worth of food, somewhere in there, and they charged, I think, $50 extra on his credit card, and that's has been the norm, and then they'll adjust it to what the bill would actually be once it's completed and delivered. So, there's always a tip too. Option. Some of them give an option, and like I say, I've had at least delivery services. Let's see, at least 3 or 4 delivery services, and 4, something like that. And one of them he has he'll go and pick up. They do the shopping, and then he just goes and picks it up. So we've been doing this. And plus, like I said, we wouldn't always get our order, but we weren't paying for what we didn't get. We just didn't get it. But one time, at least, we didn't get our whole order, and we did have to pay for it. And I kept calling and saying, when is it going to be delivered? And it was not something cheap. It was a few things, and they weren't cheap. They kept saying they would. They never did. Okay, and that was before it was all sophisticated where you could complain. And then sometimes they deliver, like I'd have diet sodas, and they would substitute them with regular sodas. I'm diabetic, he's diabetic, no thank you. Okay, anyway, I was saying all this because, it's been an inconvenience for us, and there were times when we did get ripped off, like that time, but there were other times when they would, give the wrong items. That's, to me, is like being ripped off, especially when I have a whole slew of these, because they keep doing it, and they're not going to come pick it up and replace it either. So I have to get rid of it, dispose of it, and trying to get credits. One of them, oh boy, we're no longer shopping there. And so we've had these issues. And, it even goes deeper than that. Like I said, just issues. Now, I'm really thankful for the people who are doing these services. I really am. Neither one of he or I, nor I, should be out there trying to shop for ourselves with our health conditions. I have an adrenal disorder, and that causes me to have all kinds of problems. And he has diabetes, and he's older than I. So we're not the type that should be out there. So I'm thankful for that. But like I said, we have these problems. Only getting really 70% of it. Being charged for the other 30%, but what we ordered still is an inconvenience, and so on and so forth. Really, there are many things. It's good. I think one time out of all these months, and we were doing it, say every other week, every week sometimes, and it just depend. But say at least 2 to 3 times a month, and to only get partial orders. And some of the stuff was like cans were, what do they do? Do they beat them up against a wall before they deliver them? We've had stuff that leaked, and so on. I mean, just all kinds of different issues. But we have to deal with that, because like I just said, our health conditions make us more vulnerable. So, anyway. So then yesterday happened. Okay, now if you think I'm going to be complaining about what happened yesterday, no, it's something very different. Okay. All right, now this is going to be kind of long and drawn out, but I need to tell all of the little details. So, basically, I'm not going to say which store it is, okay? But I have, instead of making a store list, I go and I put these on, whatever, service it is, whatever store it is or service. I put what we need, along the way. So I wanted to make a list. I don't have to make a list and all that. And so anyway, what happened was we wound up having, I told Adam, I said that what we need to do is to really fill up our new deep freezer. We finally got, after how many months of waiting for it to be delivered. And we got that, when was it? August, maybe September, I don't know. But we had finally gotten it, and anyway, we got it, and we haven't really filled it up. And I said that we need to do this because of both the flu season and, COVID. We should have, fill up all of our groceries and really stock up and everything. I am losing my voice again. Can you tell? Okay, I have to keep stopping because I'm coughing and sneezing, having a real good allergy attack. But anyway, so I told him that, I wanted to do that when I was going to order a bunch of meat. And there were a few other things. He said he wanted, like, like French fries, that, frozen French fries and frozen, those little pizzas. That's what he calls them, little pizzas. And, stuff like that he wanted, for something different every once in a while. So I'd ordered a bunch. And it was, like I said, $417 and some change. And, And I said, this is going to be the biggest order we've ever made. You know, we have. It's true. I told him, I said, you know, it's probably not going to be but about 70% of that. And it wound up being what they delivered and charged us was $287. So do the math. I'm not going to do the math. Yeah. But, okay, so they delivered the order. And before that, I could check and see all the things that they said weren't available. You know, and so they didn't charge us for them. And one was a brisket. You know, a whole full brisket, not just in a package, but it's a full brisket. And, you know, he'll cut it up and we'll use it bits and, you know, each package whenever. So it was a whole bunch of, like I said, a whole bunch of meat, and a whole bunch of meat wasn't available. A lot of it. I was like, my goodness. And then there were other little things that weren't available too. And at the end of it, I wanted to add a little cake, just a little bitty tiny cake, whole whopping $5, I think. It was a small one, and so I did that. It was a carrot cake, and all these other kinds of items, you know, for different things that you buy groceries. You know, when you buy groceries. So then when they delivered them and everything, and you know, I was a little upset, you know, from $417 to $287, and so much of it was meat that we wanted for variety and all that. And but I said, whatever, I'm used to it. And so they delivered. Adam takes them in, and he keeps taking them in, keeps taking. You know, is that bring or take? Depends. But so he put them on the table. Well, he didn't have enough room, so he put them on a love seat that's near there, and that's where our puppy decided is his home. And I mean, that's only happened one time before. So he put some of it in this near the sink because I wash everything that I can wash, you know, because of it. And, you know, before we put in the freezer or the refrigerator, all that. And the first thing that, you know, they were still in bags. He just knew which ones were what. The first thing I said, wait a minute. They said that they didn't have any brisket. Okay, they delivered a big brisket. They're about $38, $40. Okay, and I was, so I just started washing it off, and I did the thing of trying to fold it over because it just seemed like it was a lot of fat, and if it doesn't fold over, that's what it means. It's a lot of fat, and it was a lot of fat. So they must have just given it to us to get rid of it because it was just mainly fat. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice, and I'm not going to keep stopping. But anyway, so I keep going through the stuff that he's putting on the countertop next to the sink for me to wash, and I'm like, wait a minute, this too, and like, you know, that just kept happening. They said that they didn't have this, you know. What's going on here? You know, and I was trying to remember because some of it was like this type, you know, 93% fat, 93% beef, hamburger, okay, and you know, the 7% fat, that kind of thing, and some was 83 or whatever. We get a variety, and I couldn't remember. Okay, maybe I just got this wrong, whatever. Okay, well, I did it anyway. I had to turn it off. But anyway, I mean, and there was some stuff, I don't even know how to pronounce this meat. I've just found it the first time. It's, I think earlier this year at that store that I was talking about, or maybe it was the end of last year. And, you know, I'd ordered one of those. Adam had wanted some bacon. He said we haven't had bacon in ages, and we haven't probably since the beginning of the year. And he wanted some of that, so I ordered two different kinds. I got the ones that were, he wanted a big package, and then I got ones that were a smaller package that had low sodium. And I just kept, you know, ordering different things, different kinds of meat. Well, as I was unpacking them, more and more, I was like, that kind of meat I can't pronounce was there, and it wasn't one, it wasn't two, it was three. You know, I think that was the one that was two. And then everything was doubled. I mean, not everything. I shouldn't say everything, because I think there was one of them that wasn't. The brisket wasn't. but almost every kind of meat that we got was doubled, at least. One of them had 3. And I think it was cube steak. Really. It was weird, because I haven't even ordered cube steak, and I haven't eaten cube steak. Used it for anything probably since maybe I was in my 20s. Really. I don't know how long ago. But we wanted a variety. So anyway, we kept doing this, and then there was Adam's, that cake that I had gotten for Adam, that little bitty cake. And then a little later, he brought in another one. At some point, early on, he and I started to figure out our orders all messed up. And it looks like they doubled at least certain things. And we kept seeing this over and over and over again. And I said, I don't know. Because there is this thing that pops up. It says reorder all items. And I worried that maybe I had pushed that. Or my finger hit it somehow. I didn't see. You know what I'm saying? So we just kept going and going. And then Adam went and checked his card online. He said, no, they still have it at 467 something. Like I said, the 417 plus the 50 extra they put on there on his card. That's what it still said. Seriously now, I don't have an allergy attack until I come out here and sit in my SUV. I'm lying. Sometimes in the morning. Anyway, I don't usually lose my voice at all unless I come out here. So anyway, these things kept happening. We kept seeing more and more. And then there was stuff that other kind of stuff, like I ordered some more dividers. I mentioned this before about needing dividers for binders. And I'd ordered a couple of those, and then some labels for those binders. And they said they didn't have them. Well, I got them. 2 sets of the binders and then some labels. And then there came that, like I was talking about, that second cake. And he and I are diabetic. We don't want 2 cakes. It's in the freezer, both of them. What's left? Yeah, I think we both had slivers. And I mean, there was just so, and the weird thing was, during all the while that these things were happening, and I was noticing, and I would say something to Adam. Adam was going back and forth to the freezer, putting stuff in, mixing it with our other stuff that we have in there, and because he was straightening up, trying to get everything in there, and in the freezer, in the refrigerator, all these things. And then there was things I ordered that were there were these little cups for sugar-free Jell-O, and it's not just the one little small thing; it's a whole plate, like practically. And they sent us 4 of them. I'd ordered 2. Already had 1. I'm laughing. I know I'm going into a lot of detail, but I'm trying to express it how it was just so much stuff that at some point Adam was just like, I don't believe this. And I was already coming up with some kind of theory of what may have happened, or not even really a theory, but saying that what I would think would happen was that somebody had started the shopping for these items and had bagged them up and put them however they put them, and then maybe that person had to leave for the day or whatever, and then somebody else finished the order. But they wound up getting both things. They wound up getting both what the other person had already shopped for, had already shopped, and what the person hadn't shopped for. They got both of those. And when they did the second time, it took those off of the bill, the ones that the person had already shopped for. I know that makes sense. But that's the only thing I could come up with. And Adam is an electrical engineer, so mathematics is something he would definitely know. And we both sat there, seriously, trying to figure this all out. And, comparing it to what, like some of the meat didn't have prices on them. So going with the ounces and all that stuff. But there was a lot of math also involved in it. And We couldn't figure it out. So I'm getting to the point here, and you can tell what it is. Basically, that is the point. We couldn't figure out what had happened. What in the world went on, because some of the stuff that they said that they didn't have, we didn't get either. So, we were like, well, what do you think we should do? We were both trying to, well, Adam was like, I don't know. He was just kind of, wow, by it. And I'm like, I knew early on there was no sense in me trying to call and to explain what happened. And there was no way with us having mixed, and it wasn't just meat now. We were mixing it with other stuff that we already had. So how would I know? I don't keep an inventory of how much stuff I have on this or that before. We went to the store, or not went to the store, had stuff delivered. So I don't know how many of them extra we got. You see what I'm saying? And so I was like, I don't know. But I felt guilty, kind of thing. I felt that kind of, that's not right. And it's not. But there was nothing we could do that would make any sense, because we couldn't figure out, we didn't know how many extra of what. And then he was saying, we have to wait until they do his account, whatever it is, they have to take off, and then we see, what they're going to do. Will they double it? All these things. And then when you start messing with that stuff, my experience in 57 years of life, when you start messing with something like that, it can wind up you're going to be the one that's going to have to pay for their mistakes. That's been my experience. I'm not saying it's always, and I'm not even saying it's a good thing to see things that way. It's just been my experience. You wind up paying for their mistakes. And now this one, they were paying for their mistakes. And I have paid for their mistakes in the past. When they would, we got some stuff and it wasn't cheap, they never did deliver it. They said, I called, and the guy said, it's here. I see it right now. It's in a box with your name on it. And he said they just didn't get it. And, to deliver. And then he said they would deliver it. They didn't deliver it. I called again. They didn't deliver it. They said they delivered it. They didn't deliver it. You see what I'm saying? So we had to pay for it, literally. So, now, I've told you what we did was we just said, well, there's nothing we can do. None of it's going to make any sense. It didn't make any sense to us. Because we were already putting stuff up and all that stuff, and we were not going to sit there and go through and count off each thing and, try to remember, did we have some before we ordered this, because I usually order the same thing each time. So, the meat would have been easier because the meat wouldn't be frozen. But it was just too much all around. So anyway, that's what we did. We did nothing. We were just like, maybe they're going to catch it. Maybe they're something. They'll charge us for it. Now, can you imagine if they charge us for it, and then we'd already had them charge it for us again? I have had situations like that. So at 57, I said, no. They've screwed us enough in the past. This time, I am going to look at it that way. They have screwed us enough in the past. Okay, so they owe us. Because it's not only that kind of thing, other stuff is happening. Like this, we would sometimes, like one time we got a whole big box of trash bags, the kind that we don't use, at a different store, delivered to us, but we didn't get whatever it was. I think I said bananas. We didn't get something, and we didn't know. We couldn't figure out when we went to their website, because that was early on, and figure out what had they done and what they hadn't done. And in this one, by the way, the one yesterday, when I went back to try to find out how I could leave a comment, if there was some way I could see, if there was some kind of comment I could leave, or let them know, whatever. There was none. I couldn't even get back to my order, and I have done it in the past. To get back to it to see, did they charge us more? Because Adam had asked me to do that part, but I wanted to see if I could leave a comment, if there was any place, something. And I have done that in the past when they kept delivering dented cans. I'm serious. I think they were taking the bag and hitting it up against the brick wall, because they were so dented each time. It's like, where do they get this stuff from? How is it not leaking all over the bag? I'm losing this voice seriously here. But you see what I'm saying. I know that I'm going on about this, but I'm trying to stress it, and I'm really stressing it. But, you know, I did go through that feeling. You know, like I said, I did even try to look to see where I could, you know, leave a comment. Nothing. I couldn't even go back and look at the order. Before, right after they delivered it, I could. After that, no. Okay. So there's no way to do anything to even, you know, like right when we were sort of checking them off, after that I couldn't go back and check the order at all. So we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, if they're going to do anything, or what. But now, having said all that, I'll say this again. Ask this again. What would you do? How would you see it? Now, I think if a person, you know, really felt, you know, Adam was kind of like giddy about it, because he said, man, nothing like that's ever happened to me in my life. You know, he was something like that, you know, that kind of feeling to it. It was like something really special finally happened that was not them screwing us. You see what I'm saying? I get that. But there's some people that would just love it that they have, you know, screwed the system all around. That's just what they like all around, always, to try to somehow screw the system, you know, that kind of thing. I'm just going to throw it into that, the system. You know. Okay. But nothing else happened. So far, Adam said he checked it, and I think he said he checked it again, and it was, no, I think he said it hadn't been. And he had asked me how much it was supposed to be. And I think, like I said, $287 and some change. So we'll see what happens on that. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat. Okay, now that was that. That was yesterday. Today, I'm going to make this brief because you see it's already getting dark. Adam and I try to make video. We had to go do 3 errands, you know, that we didn't get to do yesterday, and or the day before. Anyway, so we went to do those, and on one of them one was to go to a tobacco place, and we went there. Well, Adam did, and I was with him. And we were trying to make a video all this while, and kept having little issues with the video. The mount it was in his SUV, and the mount kept falling down. I might put those clips at the end of this if I can. I don't think I'm going to have enough room to do that, to edit it. But anyway, that happened. It kept happening, and then we went to find my post office. They moved it. They changed they moved to a new building. We found that, but Adam couldn't get in. I finally got it out of him. He wasn't making any sense at first, because I think he was just so excited about the way they had their doors. I don't know why. It was something about the doors. I guess because of the COVID, and the doors had a special way of opening and everything. I don't know. And anyway, it was a new one. But he couldn't get, I thought he was saying that he couldn't get into my mailbox because it was electronic. And I had to have a code or something. But no, he said that, of course, it was going to need a new key. I didn't even think about that. So I haven't checked it so in over a month. And I didn't even know they had moved to a new building. And so that was a bust. And then we wanted to go get something to eat. And he changed his mind. We were in the drive-thru one place, changed his mind. We went to this other place. We hadn't ordered yet. We were going to go to this other place. And we went to this other place, which isn't close. And it was just good to, you know, it was another good to be outside. Went to this other place. He got there and went to pay for it, and he couldn't find his credit card. Yeah, you can figure out what happened. He left it in the machine at that tobacco place. It's a tobacco place where they sell cigarettes and stuff like that. And he left it there, so we had to go back to that place and get it. We finally called him, but all along these ways, we kept having troubles, and the videos wasn't making right, and we had moments of just pure silence. And after after the third time this happened, that it kept telling me that I hadn't pushed the button to record, and I had already said a whole bunch. You know, I mean, we've probably all done that at least once, those of us who make videos. The third time, his SUV finally told me what I was doing wrong. You know, when I was young, if I had ever told somebody that your car finally told me what I was doing wrong, they would have said it's time to go to a psych ward. Really, think about it, okay? But his SUV said that basically I couldn't basically be on the phone while driving, and it was hooked up to the USB port, so the cell phone could not be in use while driving. Well, he was driving, but anybody driving, cell phones can't be used if they're hooked up to the USB port. Yeah. And it kept clicking them off for me, which I wouldn't know that it was clicking them off for me, and that's why they weren't recording. Yeah, third time it decided to tell me that. Anyway, it was so many little bloopers kind of thing. We were laughing about it. When we decided we were going to go, it was 2:00, and then he wanted to take a shower before we left, and then finally we got home at 4:15, and we started at 2:00. We just had those few little things, nothing. But then the next place we went was to get ourselves something to eat, because we were both diabetic, and it was that time way past our meal, and we had just both of us basically forgotten to eat except for breakfast. And so anyway, we get this meal, and we've eaten there before, and it was great. It was wonderful. It's kind of a newish one, and that's when he realized he didn't have his credit card, but I had mine, so I used mine. And anyway, after we finally got home, it wasn't that long from there. He just picked up the card. On our way home, we got home, and we ate, and we both got sick. Well, I got sick, kind of. I started feeling sick, and I didn't eat much because whatever they were serving was crap. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Basically, really, I've had this happen one time before at a totally different chain, and that is, this was tacos, soft tacos. And I think it was supposed to be an enchilada. I'm not sure. But they just overload it with tortillas, like really, really thick tortilla, if you can call it that. And they put about a teaspoon of what's supposed to be beef. Okay, what it looked like, honestly, was little beads. Little beads. The beef hamburger looked like little beads, beads, and there was something that looked like a string of lettuce, wilted lettuce, and I think one little cube of like a teeny tiny diced, I think they call them, cube of I think was a tomato. I'm not exaggerating, probably understating it, seriously. And plopped on in between all this, on the one and the other one had a little bit more, but there was nothing else inside what I think was supposed to be an enchilada. And there was supposed to be a little cup of, cheese, queso, for chips. Chips were fine. And they had a little thing of beans and a little thing of rice, And I took a few bites, and there were beads in that, supposed to be enchilada, just beads scattered around, beads of beef. And anyway, I started feeling bad not too long. I mean, I started this video not even an hour later after I'd eaten. I mean, after we got home. So we ate within that time, and I was already feeling ill. I took some Pepto. Seriously, after I tried to call them, that store, and to complain. Now, I'm not one to call to complain because I want them to give me my money back. I'm calling to complain that this is crap. I don't want to, now I'm going to tell them I'm not going to ever eat there again, because I won't. If they serve crap, I don't go back. But I want it known that they were serving crap. Okay, that was my opinion on it. So anyway, I tried to call that one. It was really hard. They didn't have their number next to their, name. It was only had directions, and you had to look it up. And I finally had to write it down, and then the old-fashioned way, call it, And then it was disconnected. The next one I called, it was the same chain, and in the area, not that same town, not some suburb. I live in the suburb of Dallas. These are suburbs of Dallas that I called. Disconnected. Call another one. Disconnected. Call another one. Answer. Score. It was a young, and the guy said he's the manager. So I told him about what happened. He was a young guy, and I said, I expect you to report it to the corporate office. I did. I did. I told him. He said, no, ma'am, that shouldn't be that. He said, well, that happens when it looks like little beads like that. It's when they don't put enough spices in it. I said, I don't care what it is that they did wrong. I want you to know that I'm not feeling that great. And I wasn't, really. And this was crap, what they did. I said, is that your norm? He said, no. And just like the other place, they said, no, it's not. Well, you can get what's going on here. I live in Narcissism-Ville, remember? And it's, like I said, it wasn't my first rodeo with this kind of thing. I've seen it before. And it was, but last year, I think, at a totally different chain, like I said. They're just trying to save a buck. Many bucks. So, I think my neighbor's staring at me. It's gotten dark and I'm sitting in my car. My SUV. But, yeah. So that's what I did there. And when I was going through all that feeling of guilt and all that about my, us getting so much extra, Adam was saying, it's hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, it's probably more like 100. I'm the one who does the shopping. But he might have been right. Because I don't really know how much stuff he was taking back there. I was just watching, put it on the table, and I wasn't counting, and I wasn't even really at first thinking about it. But anyway, I was feeling like, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like that. I felt guilty. And I also started remembering something that happened to me when I was probably still a teenager. And it was that I went through a bank drive-through, and I was in a real hurry. I had to be somewhere. And the bank was closing at the time, and I finally got there. They did my transaction. They were closing right then. I think that's what it was. And I got home. Once I got home, I found that they had given me $100 and something that wasn't mine. And I didn't know, because back then, in those days, they didn't have all this. You can go online and stuff. There was no banking online kind of thing. And, people said, just keep it, because if you try to make anything, if you try to clear it up, all that's going to happen is they're going to screw it up and take money out of your account. All this stuff. So I think it was Friday even, and by Monday, screw it, it was already forgotten. And after that, what happened was, I think it was, I kept thinking, no, something bad's going to happen to me if I don't, try to make, if I don't get this made right, whatever I was going to do. And, like I said, there was no online banking or anything. So, the next thing that happened to me was my glasses broke. Yeah. Glasses were more expensive back then than they are now. Seriously. Very much more expensive. And that's the way I remember it. I think even now you pay the same. You pay less now than you did back then, I think. I've been wearing glasses for 47 years. Since I was 10. Yeah, and they're cheaper now. But anyway. And I had wondered, well, what bad karma is going to catch up on me on this one? Today, this thing happened. One blooper after another, one bad thing after another kept happening to Adam and I. Once we left this house to go over there, just one bad thing after another. Then to get this, it was like $30-something for these meals, and they were bad. So, you never know. But what do you think about all that? I just wanted to make a big blog about something like that. And like I said, now I've lost my voice. It's all cracked, sounding funny. But anyway, I'm going to go in because it's dark. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.